Hello, chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel, and welcome back to our Queen's Gambit series. So in this series, we're covering some great lines and some great defenses after the first moves d4, d5, and c4. Today, we're continuing with our Slav defense. In my previous video, we have studied the so-called Geller Gambit. Today, we're doing also the Geller Gambit. I think the Geller Gambit is very, very popular, and you should know about this tactical and strategical goals of this particular opening. Although it's not such a great line for white, the engine doesn't like this line, but still you face many times white doing this, and I think you should know about the strategical and tactical possibilities for both sides. So if you have followed my YouTube chess channel, we have covered recently the Geller Gambit from white and from black perspective, with also a great game by Mikhail Tal with some great tactics. But now with a different line, we're studying now the Geller Gambit with an early bishop to g4 move. It's sometimes playable, but in this Geller Gambit I think it's a disaster if you play an early bishop to g4 move. I'll explain you, of course, what's all about, what are the strategical and tactical goals of this particular variation. So here we're playing again d4, d5, c4, c6, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight to c3, and now comes this move d takes c4. My recommendation always would be here something to play a4, then to play e3, and then bishop to c4. It's a positional battle for both sides. I think white and black have equal chances to make progress here, but here you could choose, as I said, to play the move e4. I've tried it out recently against a much stronger opponent, and I had success. Maybe I could cover that game too in the continuation of the series. I was very satisfied when I outplayed really a much stronger opponent with the Geller Gambit. So you see, I'm studying also something while doing this series. So after move e4, we have reached now the common Geller Gambit position, and now black has to play the move b5, because again, I'm pointing out, we have talked about these ideas, but let's repeat it again. Repeating stuff is not bad, of course. We can learn every time these positions from the beginning. So here we have now the pawn central control from white's perspective. Of course, black has here a 4 versus 2 situation on the queen side, and now we're playing the normal move bishop to e2. I'm recommending you still to play the move bishop to e2, not to go into wild lines with the move a4 immediately, and now after move a6 simply casting. We have seen by the Mikhail Tal game, Mikhail Tal played then afterwards the move e5, knight to g5, and then outplayed black with some great tactics. Here you could face now this positional problem by black. Bishop to g4 would be an opportunity here, and it seems so that it's a great choice, because what we can notice now, black has developed at least a light square bishop many times. We have seen that the bishop was maneuvered to b7, and this would be still my recommendation, as I said also in my previous videos. Bishop to b7, first slow down the pace a little bit of the game, slow down, protect your queen side, protect your pawn chain here. You will find a way in the continuation of the game to push the pawn when you secure the king, but now bishop to g4 is simply too early, because we can now proceed with the move a4, and we're threatening immediately. Here's some tactics, because after a takes b5, c takes b5, knight to b5 would be an opportunity, and after potential a takes b5, your rook would be hanging. So that's the tactical threat here. The best way in this particular line, although the engine already loves really white's position, the best way here for black is to proceed with the move b4. Every other move, I think it's simply a disaster. After the move b4, then white has to make progress with the move e5. Still, it's a +1 position for white. The engine loves really now the position for white, because you play this move bishop to g4. Here in the continuation, black could take maybe b takes c3, but we could take out also the knight. You can take out this one, we can take out also this one, and now after bishop to g7, bishop to g7, I think white has a much better position. These are clear targets. When we watch now the pawn structure here on the king side is a little bit messed up. Even if black manages to castle here on the king side, I simply don't like this position. When you don't have the g pawn, I think the king could be in the continuation very in danger. So that's why my recommendation is, as I said, not to go into this bishop to g4 lines. But let's go back. Here after move bishop to g5, g4, as we said, a4, then we could reach knight to d7, and we're playing now here the move e5. If black plays the move knight to d7, it's simply a disaster. After move e5, the position gets already messed up here for black. The problem, I think, of this particular scenario for black, and it seems so, that black has developed all of his minor pieces, has a protection of the pawn chain, but it's actually a disaster because after move e5, as I told you here, the main tactical goal is to push here the pawn to e6 and now break the position around the square f7 and then sneak in somehow on light square. So let's see this possible continuously here. If you try knight to d5, knight to g5, as we have seen also in the Mikhail Tal game, knight to g5 is a great move. We are challenging immediately the bishop. After bishop to e2, we could go now queen to e2, and problem is now again this idea knight to h6 attack against the knight. It's simply not working because you get queen to h5, and even if black tries now the move g6, you have now a great move because it seems so something went wrong. Both pieces are under fire, but maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation for black, pardon me, for white. So for white is winning here immediately with a great move. Okay, the move is very cool here. It's the move e6. We're threatening, of course, e takes f7, the checkmate. So that's why black would be here. Let's see if black takes now, e takes f7. If black now plays the rook, the move rook to h7, it's not improving anything. We can simply take out here if we try. Rook takes f7, actually we can take, and the problem is now after h takes g5, the problem is this knight will come into the game, knight to g5 will happen, and you have lost the position. I think this is really wild stuff because it's always a possibility here to simply attack this e6, splitting out the pawn structure in front of the king, getting use of our knight activity. Black could maybe, after move e5 and knight to d5, and as we said, knight to g5, could try bishop to f5, but again, bishop to g4. What we're chasing simply the bishop, which is the key defender of light course, because black has exposed himself a little bit with the move bishop to g4. Now, after bishop takes g4, queen to g4, and let's see again this move h6, knight to f7 would be even here a possibility because our king to f7 now comes to again e6. All of the tactics are simply around the square e6, king to g8, and now we could also take out here the pawn. Even if you try here something like g6, then again knight takes d5 could happen, c takes d5, queen to f3 with queen to d5, a double threat. So it's again simply lost, or e6 is also again a great possibility. So that's why I think black has to be careful in these types of structures with this early bishop to g4. You see the bishop gets endangered, the tactics are all over the board. So that's why in my opinion this bishop to g4 you should not play if you're facing the Geller Gambit with the black pieces. As I mentioned to you before, the better idea is simply to proceed bishop to b7, slow down the pace, as we said, then to try to move e6, developing the dark square bishop, castling, and then you find a way, as we said, to play the move c5. So let's go see now one really great game. It was played by Anna Usherina against Anna Sargassian. Here again we'll face this Geller Gambit with a different line, but with with the same strategical ideas. We have b5, bishop to e2, bishop to g4. Here black was challenged by the move h3, and black tried bishop to h5, but again we're facing this tactical problem, e5, knight to d5, and now again the move e6. When you can play the move e6 here in this position, you should do it, because here it was really a perfect game by Anna Oshenina. It's a really masterpiece of what black faced here, because the only inaccuracy that the engine evaluated was the move e4, which was basically our Geller Gambit move. After move e6 here, black was pretty much forced to take out f takes e6, and we have now again this idea knight to g5, getting rid of the key defender of light squares. We have bishop to g6 here. Black is desperately trying to defend his position somehow, but now even castling is a possibility here by white. You see simply improving all of our minor pieces here. a4, again this idea to split the pawn chain on light squares. Here knight to c7, a takes b5, c takes b5. You can basically play whatever you like, and now bishop to g4, simply attacking the long-term weakness. It's the weak square on e6, queen to d6, and now rook to e1, including all of our pieces into the attack. Really brilliant stuff here. Knight to b5, but now knight to e6, knight to e6, rook to e6, and here queen to b8, queen to f3, further attacking the light squares. We have queen to d8, now knight to b5. You see this position is falling apart, and now even knight to d6 was a possibility, and this position black resigned. So as I said, When the bishop is out, when black is not playing the most accurate moves with the move e6 and fixing the position with the move b7, as we said, our main tactical goal is simply to push here the pawn to e6, somehow break the position, then chase the bishop, as we said, simply trying to get rid of the key defender of light course. And I think you find a way with the rook, maybe with the queen, with the bishop, to sneak in somehow into the light course. Of course, many lines can happen to you, but I think the tactical and strategical goal we have here, we can attack this position, and it's pretty much a comfortable game here for white. So okay, I hope that you realize these ideas. I hope that you enjoyed this video too. I think we could now stop with the Geller Gambit. We're trying now some different lines of the Slav defense. I think they're very popular and they're very often played. If you want to maybe study one game or something in the Geller Gambit, please write it in the description below. Maybe we can analyze it if you want to study the Geller Gambit more. I think we have solved now many positional and the tactical problems of this opening. So as I said, maybe if you want to study it more, we can do it, no problem. We're continuing now to follow the Slav defense, because I think when a beginner plays chess, I think a beginner really loves to play the Slav defense, because it's a firm comfort, it's a really compact position that you can reach, and I think we should study it more also from white and black's perspective. So okay, I hope that as I said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to study more the Queen's Gambit, please watch my series from the beginning, so from part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on. And if you have trouble maybe to play as black, check out my hyper accelerated Dragon Sicilian defense series and my Nimzo Indian defense series as good responses to d4 and e4. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.